everyone. This is Dr. Paul Friedman, and thank you for joining us here in the Marlton office. The reason we're here today is to demonstrate a chiropractic treatment for headaches. Loretta here has been suffering from tension headaches, and she has graciously agreed to have her treatment filmed today so we can show you what we do. Headaches are one of the most common problems that people have, usually due to stress, and it's also one of the most fixable most of the time. For the purposes of this video, we're going to demonstrate a treatment for tension headaches. I know there's many different types of headaches, including migraines, but tension happens to be the most common and the type that we're dealing with today. And let's get started. So this is just a side note on migraine headaches, because we know a lot of people are suffering from migraines. Migraines are a little more complicated than tension headaches, but they are still treatable. And even so, usually when you have a migraine, a percentage of it, part of it is coming from tension itself. So for example, if maybe 70% of your headache is migraine, there's 30% that could be coming from tension. So if we can address the tension component, you are then 30% better. And that makes it that much easier to address the migraine component directly. So a major part of Loretta's headaches are coming from tension in the fascia in her mid-back. So fascia is a very thin layer that kind of encases all of your muscles, and pain can travel along the fascia in predictable patterns. So to demonstrate kind of how fascia works, just grab your shirt a little bit under your arm, and then try to lift up your arm, and you'll feel that there's a lot of resistance trying to lift your arm up. Your shoulder will feel very tight, and it just feels like a lot of resistance. So what our job is to break up the fascia where the problem is. So it feels like the problem's in the shoulder, but really it's down here. So when we can release the fascia, your arm can move freely again. That's kind of what's going on with Loretta's headaches, because there's fascial adhesions in her mid-back that's causing the fascia all the way up her neck and all around her head to tighten up. So by releasing it back here, we're going to free up all the tension in her head. So the first part of the treatment, we are going to be using active release technique to break up some of the scar tissue and some of the fascial adhesions in Loretta's mid-back. So we're having you with your arms crossed, and we're going to start off by kind of leaning back. And now we're going to put your head down and go forward, down, and to your left. And you feel that stretching there?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah. We're going to do this a few times. So by shortening the muscle and then lengthening it with pressure on it, helps to break up some of those fascial adhesions to get the muscle moving correctly the way it should be, and helps to relieve some of the fascial tension around her head. So just a few notes on the concept of inflammation. So there's two types of inflammation. There's acute inflammation and there's chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation is what happens directly right after an injury, and that's when you might experience bruising or swelling or redness and stiffness in the area. That, as unpleasant as it may feel, that's actually what helps to promote healing early on. When it goes on for too long and then becomes chronic inflammation, that's when you can get more long-term tissue damage. And that's what creates more chronic pain issues and other things. So that's what's going on with these chronic tension headaches. In chronic inflammation, muscles and tendons tend to change their texture to become more hard and leathery. So the point of this part of the treatment is we want to go back from chronic inflammation back to acute inflammation. We want to break up that scar tissue and bring it back into an acute inflammation state. And to do that, we're going to use this tool. It's called a FAKTR tool. And we're just going to get into Loretta's back here to help break up some of the scar tissue to help stimulate more of that acute inflammation that's going to stimulate healing. So scar tissue kind of develops like this. Muscle fibers are supposed to line up nicely. When they become scar tissue, they get more stuck together. We want to go back from this to this. You doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
So as we're going here, we could even feel like little bumps in the muscle, in the paraspinal muscles, which have developed over time. So we're going to kind of, as we go, kind of bring your head forward and back to incorporate some movement into this.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good. Doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes this treatment will cause a little soreness or maybe even in some cases some bruising. And like we said, with acute inflammation, that's not a bad thing because that helps to stimulate healing. Sometimes we have to break down the bad stuff to encourage the healing to happen. Starting to loosen up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Feel it.
Most patients will describe this as almost a hurt so good type of feeling.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
So now we're just doing some active release on the suboccipital muscles, which are the ones right under your skull. So I call this the headache factory because a lot of times people with a posture where their heads tend to ride forwards put a lot of strain on those suboccipital muscles. And if you have trigger points in those muscles, you'll get headaches referring right behind your eyes, which is the most common place. And a lot of times when we release these muscles, it'll recreate a headache behind your eyes. And if that starts happening, that's how you know we're on the right spot. Okay, so now that we have the muscles and the myofascia released, we're going to give Loretta a chiropractic adjustment. So the point of this is to get the joints in her spine moving. So anytime there's any degree of a lack of movement between two joints in your body, your brain will recognize that as a problem. So the purpose of an adjustment is to get those joints moving again. It lets the brain know that movement is happening, and it actually allows the muscles to relax a little bit more. Okay, so Loretta, we're going to have you scoot down this way a little bit. We're going to cross your arms in front like this. We're going to pick up your knees. Come down a little bit more. I'm going to give you a big bear hug with my hand underneath here, and you're probably going to feel a few little pops in your back. Okay, so let's tuck your chin. Take a nice big breath in, and breathe out. Good. One more. Breath in, and out. Very good. Okay. So now we're going to do a neck adjustment. You feel how that's a little bit stuck right there? We're going to get that moving. Okay. So just kind of let your head relax. This will be nice and easy. Good. More on the other side here. Okay, just let your head fall right in my hand. And relax. Beautiful. So now we're just going to demonstrate some corrective exercises that you can do at home to help prevent headaches from coming back in the future. So usually this type of headache is caused by muscle imbalances, usually that are postural in nature. And since we all live on a planet with gravity, it's very easy to develop poor posture. Our heads tend to ride forwards, our shoulders tend to go forwards also, and that puts a lot of unnecessary strain on your trap muscles, on your suboccipital muscles that we worked on before, and those are the muscles that tend to refer pain into your head. So what we're about to do now is some corrective exercises to help take some of the strain off of those muscles and get muscles that aren't doing their job to start doing their job, like the muscles, specifically the muscles in your mid-back. So the first exercise we're going to do is something very easy that you could just do at home. It's just called a chin tuck. So this is going to help strengthen the deep neck flexors and also the ones in your mid-back. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our shoulders back and down, and then what we want to do is just bring our chin directly backwards, and you should feel it tucking. Okay, so go forwards, nice and slow, and then bring it backwards again. And then you would do this 10 times. Okay, good. So what this is going to do is going to help strengthen your deep neck flexor muscles, and it's going to help take some of the strain off of these suboccipital muscles. Okay, so now what Loretta's demonstrating is called wall angels. So this is an exercise more to strengthen the muscles in your mid-back that hold your shoulders back and down. So the way to do it is you start by doing a chin tuck so that your head is against the back of the wall, and then very slowly, arms go all the way up, And then very slowly bring them all the way back down so that you're squeezing right in between your shoulder blades. When you're doing this, after several times, you should feel a nice burn in the middle of your back. If you're doing it correctly, that's where you'll feel it. If you're doing it incorrectly, then you'll feel it in your neck. So you want to make sure that you're really using the muscles in your mid-back. And what this does is it helps take some of the strain off of your upper trap muscles and puts it more where it belongs in your mid-back. So that concludes our headache treatment for today. So our philosophy here, as with any problem, headaches included, is we want to get to the root cause of the problem before we fix it. As soon as we can identify the root cause, it makes it that much easier to develop a solution. At our offices, this just happened to be a chiropractic treatment for headaches, but at our offices we also have acupuncture, we have occupational therapy, physical therapy, massage therapy, medical pain management, along with some other things. And what we do is we all put our heads together and work as a team to try to figure out your individual problem, get to the root cause of it, and figure out the best way to fix it. I want to thank Loretta for allowing us to film her treatment today. Hopefully you all found this useful and helpful. And thank you for watching.